How are we all doing? Joe Pastore with My Custody Coach, which is a subsidiary of Platinum Method Coaching. Continuing our sessions here regarding custody. Today I want to talk about the importance of creating a parenting plan. This is the single most important document that you are going to create during the divorce. So you want to give this the most time because this is really a blueprint for your children's future. It's important because it shows you care about your children. It's important because it's going to help you think through all the issues that they're going to be facing until they become adults. It's important because it will show the court that you care. And it's important that it's going to show your other half, or your soon-to-be ex-other half, that you care and that you bring out all the issues. So you really should think through this very carefully. Today we're just going to go through why it's important and some of the things that go into it. And the next time we'll actually go through one. And of course, in the resources section, I'll have a sample parenting plan and some other resources there on how to prepare one. But why is it important to create a parenting plan? A parenting plan is an outline of how parents divide their responsibilities and time with regard to the children. It is one of the most important tools in the custody process. It takes into account both parents' and children's obligations, availability, for creating a schedule that's going to work for everybody. But it's not just about the scheduling, it's about much more. It's about everything. You're figuring out how you want the child to be raised, where they're going to go to school, what religion. But the central component of it is, of course, going to be the timeshare. But that's just one part of it. Parenting plans define the post-separation world in which your children live and operate. Okay, and specifically it defines the role of each parent. It addresses the challenges of the children living in two different homes. So why is it important? Well, it helps a parent think through the process of shared custody, and it outlines specifically the responsibilities of each parent. A carefully crafted parenting plan can help parents avoid future misunderstandings and conflict, which ultimately is better for the child. It demonstrates to the court that you're organized, you've thought through all the relevant issues, and if you're the first to prepare a reasonable parenting plan, it may provide a basis for negotiations or even put the other parent in a position of having to show why your plan is not in the best interest of the child. Children do better when both parents have consistent and meaningful involvement in their lives, and the parenting plan is the guideline for allowing this to happen. It ultimately becomes the nucleus of the custody agreement. So you're going to want to be on top of every issue in it. And your writing of this, instead of your lawyer, of course, is going to save you tons of money in legal fees. If you don't create a parenting plan, you're relying on the courts, your lawyer, or the other parent to create one for you. So take the initiative and the opportunity to create the best parenting plan you can, one that really reflects the best interest of your child. So what goes into this parenting plan? Well, a parenting plan details the role of each parent. It outlines physical custody, which is the time that each parent will have with the child, and it serves as a blueprint for vacations, as well as what happens on holidays and special days. It details how and where exchanges take place. It should also define legal custody as to which parent is responsible for making decisions about the child, those long-term decisions. Now, if the parents have joint legal custody, then it usually requires that both parents communicate and agree about the major decisions. This section provides a framework for making decisions about the child when both parents are not available or the parents can't agree. So once again, this is your backup plan, it's your referee, it's your mediator. So it's important to be precise and clear in this. So if the two of you don't agree on something, you can go back and say, this is what we do in this situation. Especially happens with scheduling where, if one parent gets the holiday Mondays and yet that's during another parent's custodial period or another parent's holiday schedule, what happens? So things like that, they're good to outline in there when there's a conflict or things out of the ordinary happen. Now, the outline of the time that the children will spend with each parent, of course, is the most important part of the parenting plan. And this is the typical, normal, weekly, monthly schedule. But you need to construct a schedule to allocate normal time for holidays, for vacation. It has to include, Thanksgiving schedule, Winter break, including Christmas. Do you split it evenly? Do you stick with the regular schedule? What about New Year's? What about school vacation? What about when kids are off a day that's not a normal holiday and it's on a Monday when both of you are working? What do you do? Parenting plan should address these contingencies so there are no misunderstandings later on, as well as include a system for the exchange of the children. You need to know where and when and how. Now, it should also include information about the children's education, such as which parent makes the decisions, extracurricular activities, religious training, medical care, mental health care, medical and dental insurance, and it should outline procedures for communication between the parent. And let me be clear about this. Communication should only be between the parents. When one parent wants to move on safety issues, don't use your child as a go-between. Some parents use a notebook they put in the child's backpack. I don't really suggest this because if the child goes through it, it could be easily misunderstood. Anyway, parenting plans also take into consideration factors like the age and temperament of the child, each child's daily schedule, the availability of each parent as a caregiver, and the flexibility of the parents' schedules. The distance between each parent's home, workplace, children's school should be considered as well. The ability and mode for parents to communicate. It also addresses the ability and willingness of both parents to learn and administer basic caregiving daily tasks like feeding and bathing and preparing a child for school, helping with homework, and dealing with a variety of problems as they arise, such as social and emotional and logistical hurdles. So before completing a parenting plan, start thinking about these issues. How do you want to share the responsibilities? What are your strengths as a parent? How has each of you been involved in the child's recreation activities, such as music, sports, dance, or after-school activities prior to separation? How do the siblings get along? What are the child's preferences? What are the most important challenges facing each child? Children need predictability, stability, structure, and consistency in their lives. With so much going on in the children's household, the more consistency and stability you can provide for the child, the better off they're going to be. And a detailed parenting plan is a way to establish a solid foundation. Now, parenting plans should also address the issues of financial support, including child support. It should also define where the child's going to school and who's paying for it. Healthcare is another topic that must be addressed for the child, as well as insurance. Other issues to be included are communication between the parents, religious training, discipline, and maybe we'll talk about that later on. Most people don't use corporal punishment anymore, but you want to be really careful on this. You may want to put it in there, that no corporal punishment, but one more thing to think about. Okay, other issues to consider before completing your parenting plan. Who's going to be responsible for pickups and drop-offs? How do vacations work? Who's going to handle and pay for routine medical and dental appointments? Who's going to handle and pay for non-routine medical and dental appointments? What happens when one parent is unavailable for the scheduled time? Who will be responsible for childcare when the child is sick and unable to go to school? Who's going to pick up the child at school when they're sick? Now, as you can imagine, there are many factors that need to be considered and clarified other than just the parenting schedule. So either the court or your lawyer may require you to prepare a parenting plan. Either way, you need to do it. They definitely require a custody agreement, and this is a much more elaborate version of a custody agreement. So, now, and it may prompt you to consider some issues that maybe you just never thought about before. For example, in some instances, it gives the judge and the custody evaluator an opportunity to see where each party stands with regard to parenting issues. Chances are that if you're litigating, you're not in agreement. Therefore, the parenting plan gives you a chance to make your case for each aspect of custody before the judge or the evaluator. It gives you a chance to set down the guidelines. These will be the rules. Now, with regards to your attorney, it's a huge time and money saver, Now, once again, the whole point of all the custody stuff is to do what's the best interest of your child. But one of the reasons I personally got involved in this is to help save you money. I wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers involved in custody. It was completely unnecessary, and it wasn't what was best. So if I can save you $100,000, that makes me feel better, and I guarantee it's going to make you feel better. So when you have a good custody, a good parenting plan, you're eliminating the time spent on hurt feelings and emotions, and instead you're focusing on the ultimate goal, which is how and when you spend quality parenting time with your children. Some other benefits of creating a well-crafted parenting plan is it reveals your level of commitment to being an important part of your child's life. It demonstrates your understanding of the issues involved in parenting, such as activities, health, well-being, education, and religion. It also illustrates to the court that you're committed to working with the other parent in a reasonable manner for the sake of your children. A well thought out and clearly written parenting plan will also help you avoid common problems that often occur after custody is settled, as well as conflict between the parents after the custody order is put into place. Now, hope you heard what I said. A well-crafted parenting plan. It's important to be specific. It's important to be precise. It's important to think about and put in rules for contingencies when, ooh, this isn't the way it normally works. What do we do here? Oh, it's mine, they're mine day, You want to avoid that. And like I said, this is especially true around holidays or when you're in high conflict with the other parent. Normally, you may have all your pickups and drop-offs during school during the year. What happens when school is not in session or for the summer or for the holidays? You need to have a clearly defined time and place for pickups and drop-offs. Otherwise, there's potential for massive conflict and misunderstandings. You may know what you meant when you wrote the parenting plan, but if it wasn't specific enough, the other parent may have interpreted it completely different. So be precise when you write it, and it's often best to have someone objective review this and see if it's clear to them and if they understand it the same way that you meant it to be when you wrote it. Now, creating a parenting plan is the first step to establishing a custody agreement. It's important you think through and detail all the issues of parenting your children, and you reasonably divide up the responsibilities between the two parents in a way that makes sense for both the parents and the children. This is going to be your roadmap for your children's lives after divorce. It may be the most important task of the entire divorce, so give it the time and energy it deserves. Seek objective advice before submitting it. But your parenting plan, it literally is your plan for your children's future. So think about it, think through it. When we're back next time, I'm going to walk through how to prepare one, and I, of course, have a sample in the resources section. So this is Joe Pastore with Platinum Method Coaching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.